It is a great misunderstanding that when we come to our meditation practice, that suddenly our mind should be calm and peaceful and clear, and we meet only pleasant things. This is not the nature of meditation, simply because it's not the nature of the mind. If we want our mind to be calm and peaceful, actually that very desire is something that's going to disappoint us. The mind is the way it is, and in Vipassana, that's what we're looking at. We're just sitting with this mind as it manifests moment after moment. But one of the things that people really don't seem to understand is that how they live their life on a day-to-day basis has a direct influence on what we meet in the meditation. I have many stories of people coming to me and telling me how they race home from work, from the office or whatever work they have, and arriving in the house still stressed and nervous about the day that they've just had, and immediately disappearing into their so-called meditation room and sitting to become calm, to become peaceful. This is not how to understand the meditation, and with this degree of understanding, then you're going to meet just disappointment. Our basic practice is something called anapanasati. This is the foundation for everything that we do. This means, if I express it simply, it means awareness of breathing. That the body breathes. You don't breathe. The body breathes. And whether you are awake or asleep or conscious or unconscious, the body breathes. And we direct our attention to that as we experience the breath passing through the nostrils, without trying to regulate it, without trying to make it something special or specific or spiritual. The body breathes. Okay, so we put ourselves in that position where we sit with the body as it breathes, and our attention is at the nostrils. And as our attention becomes more and more refined, then we understand the breath in a different way. We understand it as sensation, and that's what ultimately is the goal of our practice, called anapanasati. Ana means in breath, pana means out breath, sati means awareness. Technically it means mindfulness. So we have this mindfulness of breathing, this awareness of the breath, without trying to do anything with it. Now, if we come to our meditation cushion and we have this desire to become calm and peaceful, well, perhaps it will happen and perhaps it won't. So if we're practicing anapanasati to become calm and peaceful, then we may meet great disappointment. But if we just practice anapanasati without any expectation, then quite spontaneously and naturally, calmness and peacefulness will arise by itself. So this is the first thing to look at, our understanding of the meditation practice that we do. If we're looking for results, if we have an expectation of something specific to happen, we are always going to meet disappointment. So we sit with what is. The breath comes in, the breath goes out. The breath comes in, the breath goes out. Sometimes that breath is long and deep and profound. Other times it's short and sharp. But it's all fine. It all has the same quality. And all you have to do is return your attention to that. Every time the mind drifts off somewhere into the past, where you're remembering things from earlier this day or yesterday or some earlier part of your life, or the future, where you're projecting yourself out into the future, what your plans, your ambitions, or you have some fantasy about what should be happening, either in the meditation or in your life, or that we just have thinking, just common or garden thinking. One person in India came to me and said, he said, I like to think a thought until it's finished. I don't know if you see the flaw in that argument. Thinking never finishes. It just perpetuates itself. This thought conditions the next thought, which conditions the next thought and the next thought, and so on and so on. So our idea in Vipassana is to be aware of these processes, establishing our base in anapanasati, but then opening everything. So we are just at peace with the things that we don't control, which ultimately is the mind. The mind arises and passes away as it chooses, not as we decide. If we really had power and influence over the mind, then we would decide every morning upon awakening, today I'm going to be happy all day. So you can try that. It's an experiment. Try it. See if you can determine your happiness just by an act of will. And if you do, please contact me, because you will be the first person ever who has been able to determine their own happiness simply by deciding that's what they're going to do. The mind arises and passes away. It's independent of you, of this idea of self. So that's the first part, that to let go of any expectation, to come to your cushion or your meditation place, whatever it is. A chair is fine, a meditation stool, of course, is fine. Intention is everything. The posture, there is no real need to sit something like this in an Asian style, but it's intention that counts. So when you go to your chair or your cushion or your meditation stool, it's your intention to make this practice properly, which is to let go of any intention except to do it properly. To let the breath come in, let the breath go out, let the thoughts arise, pass away, to be aware of them, and not, as much as possible, not to get caught up in them. Now that's difficult. It's very simple for me to say this, but it's very difficult to do. It's like when you hear people telling other people, just let go. Well, if letting go of our past and of our pain and our hurt was so easy and so simple, then the world would be a very different place and you would be a very different person. But it's because it's not so easy to let go. The instruction is simple. Let go. Let go of the things that cause pain for you in your life. To do it takes an investigation and an unraveling of the conditions that lead to that pain. But anyway, in the meditation, what we want mostly is what I meet from people is that they want to be calm and peaceful. They want their meditation to be an escape from their life. What they don't understand in this moment then is that what they're meeting in their meditation is their life. All the things that happened to you that day and the day before and the week before and the month before, the year before, all those things, the moment you stop, they come rushing forward. Now, there are things we can do about this. First of all is what I've just been speaking about, which is to accept, because that's natural. But if we don't address the conditions that lead to this restless mind, then it's always going to be like this. And the best we can hope for, I suppose, is some kind of short respite from our daily life, from the mind states that determine our daily life. I think if you are a serious meditator now, or probably shouldn't say serious meditator, but serious about your meditation, then you need to look at how you live your life. Now, I've spoken in the past about the sila, about the morality. This is very, very important. That we live, as much as we are able, we live a harmless life. We don't bring harm to ourselves or to any other beings. So this includes, of course, greater animals like mammals, the things that people eat and hunt, right down to insects and crawling things, including the birds and the fish and all these different things. We make this determination, well, I'm not going to be part of harming any of these creatures. I don't need to. So I'm going to take care with how I live. I'm going to live as much as I can a harmless life. I'm going to take care with my relationship with other people and how I, take things or manipulate people into giving me things that they may not want to give me. So I'm not going to steal anything, but I'm going to share what I have. Basically, I'm going to share what I have. I'm not going to manipulate other people so I can get them to do things that they actually don't want to do, but I want them to do it. So we're letting that fall away as well. And then I'm going to serve beings as much as I can. I'm not going to use my speech in cruel and harmful ways. I'm not going to say unkind and unpleasant things. If I have something to say, I'm going to reflect upon it first. How necessary is it for me to say this? How necessary is it for this other person to hear what I'm going to say? And is it truthful in any case? Is it just an opinion? So we have this using our speech in a wholesome way, that we're going to use our speech to unite, to bring people, to bring beings together. And then I'm not going to take drugs or things that alter the consciousness, but I'm going to keep my mind clear so I can see the reality of this being that we call self, that this mind arises and passes away, whether we want it to or not. The mind is like this. Happiness does not arrive and then stay forever. That would be wonderful, but it doesn't do that. And so we always have a perception of happiness that it's some kind of goal in the future. I just have to get all the things I need. I get the right kind of relationship, the right kind of job, the right money, the right house, the right car, the right smartphone. Then I'll be happy. And we can spend a lifetime pursuing that happiness and never reaching it. Of course not. There are moments of it, but it's never enough. It's never, ever enough. And so we move to the next thing. Our desires are endless. So you may come to your meditation and think, well, I don't want any of this. What I want is to be calm and peaceful, which is how I started this Dharma talk. In Buddhist teaching, there is something called the Dasa Paramita, which are the 10 perfections. One of those 10 perfections is called Nekama. Nekama means renunciation. Now, when I speak about renunciation, I don't mean necessarily giving up your life and becoming a monk or a nun. But I mean letting go of that endless activity that we fill our day with. And now when I trained, it was 50 years ago. We didn't have smartphones. We didn't have computers. We didn't have, we couldn't ask Google everything we wanted to know. If we wanted to know something, we had to either try it for ourselves or find someone who did know and sit with them, or go to the library or read a book. So now this convenience really takes over in our life. We can't have a meal without our telephone sitting next to us and looking at it, and all these different sounds that the smartphones make. When you live your life like this, driving and working and continually being busy, when you come to your meditation, that comes with you. It's not going to stay outside. There isn't a special meditation mind that's always calm and peaceful, and all you have to do is take your posture and there it is. It's not how it works. And you know this. You don't need me to tell you this. You know this. So we have to change our external life, the life outside our meditation. That itself has to become more calm and more peaceful, more gentle. We have to look at what we need in our life, which is very, very few things, and what we want in our life, which is endless. We just have to look at these things. What I want is, and then we make this list of things. Because if I had all these things, then I'd be happy. So what I want in my meditation is to be calm and peaceful, because then I would feel happy. But if you want to meet that calmness and that peacefulness, you have to change something else. You have to let go of that, as I said, that endless activity in your daily life. Refine your life. Let go of those things that take so much of your time and so much of your thinking. Our education system, I think it's correct in the world, is really to fill an empty head with all kinds of pieces of information, the majority of which do not have a great value in your life. When I was young, of course, a long time ago, but this piece of information I don't think has changed. We were told that the sun is 93 million miles away from the earth. Now, I have no reason to doubt that, but I know it and I carry it with me. I've carried it with me for 65 years or something. But the relationship that piece of information is, and what? How does that help me in my life? When I wake up, the sun is there. When I and it's time to go to bed. The sun has disappeared. My relationship to the sun has no actual relationship with its distance from the earth. Now, I'm not saying that we dismiss these things, but it's perhaps a poor example of how we fill our mind with things that do not really contribute to our happiness, to our Dhamma happiness. So what we do need to do is to simplify our life and let go. If we let go a little, there's a little peace, because there's a little more space in your life where you're not continually occupied looking at your phone and Googling things and or whatever servers you look at. Checking everything out, confirming everything. If you let go a little, there's a little peace because there's a little more space. If you let go a lot, there's a lot more peace because there's a lot more space. You're not going to forget who you are and who your friends are and what your life is about and what's important for you. You're just not going to fill the periphery of that with things that are not important for you. You don't need to know everything about everything. You only need to know what's useful for you in your life. How to be happy. Okay. Don't attach to this mind as being yours. That's the first thing. This mind comes and goes as it chooses, not as you decide. Now that's a fact, a truth that you have to absorb into you. And that the more clutter we have in our lives, the more that's going to be an obstacle to calmness and peacefulness. Because when you come to your meditation place, that's what you're going to meet. That's what you're carrying with you. This is the sack that you arrive in your meditation place or on retreat with. It's over your shoulder. And you bring it into the Dharma hall with you. And the first day and the first 2 days perhaps of retreat, the mind is very busy. But the structure of retreat is we give you nothing to do. So eventually this energy falls away. And what you're left with is this peacefulness. And in that peacefulness, you can really begin to understand the nature of the mind and your relationship to it. Then you can let go. Or then, I actually need to clarify that. Then letting go can happen. You don't let go. Letting go happens spontaneously with an understanding of something. We call it insight. Japanese people call it satori. And if you let go completely, complete peace. Now, your life is just dealing with this one thing in front of you, responding to it, lovingly, kindly, with wisdom, compassion, but just responding with that, and then letting it go, not carrying it with you. You have nice relationships with people, that's lovely. Enjoy them, but then don't carry them with you. You have unpleasant relationships with people, that's uncomfortable for us very often, but we just let it go. We don't carry it with us. That we find this peace in our life by letting go of the things that disturb that peace. And that's what we fill our life with. Understanding our meditation is something that needs to be reflected upon. What is it that we're doing? Why are we doing it like this? How can I be peaceful? You need to be peaceful in our life to meet that same peace in our meditation. So to refine our life, to let go and let go and let go of the things that do not take you to peace. And so I offer this short Dhamma talk this morning for your consideration and your reflection. And may you all be well